I'd like to call the February meeting of the Edison Public Library Board to order at 7:02. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As required by the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-1, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by notices given to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the News India Times, posted on the Edison Public Library website and bulletin board, and given to the Township Clerk's Office. Mr. Kleiman, please roll call, please.
Ms. Mead,
Here.
Ms. Pam,
Here.
Mr. Patel,
Here.
Ms. Body,
Here.
Ms. Singh,
Here.
Mr. Romano,
Here.
Ms. Leary,
Excuse that.
and Mr. DeBaswell.
Here. Okay. We're gonna go to the resolution to approve the minutes, and before we approve them, we ask Ms. Kabadi if she can give us a summary of the minutes of the last meeting.
Minutes of the Edison Township Library Board of Trustees meeting of January 14th, 2025. Present Fiona Mead, Jyoti Pamidimukula, Anthony D. Pasquale, Shreyans Patel, Pallavi Kabadi, Rinki Singh, Joseph Romano, Katrina Leary, also present. Dominic Brady, Board Attorney, Joseph Palmbit, Board Attorney, Alan Kleinman, Library Director, Deborah Sarr, Assistant Director, Amanda Coyle, Administrative Operations Manager, Richard Brescia, Council Liaison. Mr. Brady called the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. He led the salute to the flag and open public meeting statement was read, roll call taken. Resolution to hold over the open board position for Ms. Massey did not carry. Mr. Brady requested nominations for 2025 board president. 3 nominations for president for Mr. Di Pasquale, Ms. Pamidimukula, and Ms. Mead. Mr. Di Pasquale elected as 2025 board president, and open nominations for other board of officers for 2025. Ms. Singh elected as vice president, Ms. Kabadi elected as board secretary, Mr. Patel elected as treasurer. The resolutions to appoint Joseph Palmbit of Hoagland, Longo, Moran, Dunst, and Dukas as the new board attorney was approved. Resolution to approve Sipley, Clooney and Company as the library auditor for 2025 in the amount of $12,900 approved. Resolution to approve the newspapers of record for 2024 was tabled. Resolution to approve the cash management plan and official bank was approved. Resolution for closed days and holidays for 2025-26 approved. The minutes of the regular open session meeting of December 10, 2024, special open session meeting December 23, 2024, and special closed session meeting December 23, 2024 were approved. The bill list dated December 31, 2024 was approved. The resolution to move the June 10th board meeting to June 17th at the main branch was approved. The board opened for public comment, after which Mr. Di Pasquale announced that the next library board meeting would be held on Tuesday, February 11th at 7 p.m. at the main branch. Public comment was closed by unanimous consent. The meeting was adjourned at 9:26 p.m. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we have a roll call to approve the minutes of January 14th,
We have a
2025?
motion in a second.
Oh, a motion to approve January 14th, 2025.
A motion.
Okay, second. Okay, roll call.
Ms. Mead,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Kabadi,
Yes.
Ms. Singh,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
and Mr. DeBaswell.
Yes,
Motion carries.
great. Okay, the president's reports. I'd like to say it's been a pretty busy past few weeks. And I'm excited to share some of the wonderful developments that have been happening at the library. I want to highlight over the recent success with the Lunar New Year event. It was really, it was good. There was a lot of good good. When I was there, the food that they had was something I've never had before, but it was really, really good. And I heard some other, comments from other people that were there that, it was just very informative and it was nice just to experience the different cultures. Looking ahead, I want to also announce that we are in the planning stages of having what we're calling the Clara Barton Community Connections. We're looking at doing those in April, actually March and April. Alan will speak on that a little bit more. But these events are basically to give us the ideas that the residents are looking for in the services that Clara Barton can provide to the community. And I want to say what I said in the first meeting. The Clara Barton Library is not closing. I've seen some comments from people on social media. And again, I want to say that the library is not closing. The community made that a definite, but 2 years ago that they want the Clara Barton Library, and we all agree that the Clara Barton Library is important to the community. So as I said at the last meeting, we are actually doing the opposite. We are going to be looking to update, upgrade, and see what other service can be provided. But the first steps are we need to get input from the community, because those in the community are the ones that will be using the library. So we want to hear from them. So as me and Alan and myself look at the dates coming up for these community connections, we're really going to want to make sure that everybody is aware of them. We want to have a good participation because that's what's going to help us be able to, as a board, look at what is needed for that library. And then just a encouragement to all of the trustees. Please take out some time to visit the libraries to see what's going on, what's happening. Introduce yourself to those that, the employees. I've been doing that. Saturdays are my days to go there and just experience what's happening and just, it's also a good encouragement for the employees to see that the trustees are not just here having a meeting, but we are actually out there being a part of the library system. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff. We have the construction for the main and the north that are going to be happening. We have something exciting on the 24th that Alan is gonna speak about also. And I think we're in a really good trajectory forward in what we need to do for the library and for the residents. So that's my report. Alan, if we can go with the financials.
The financials. Good evening, everyone. The first thing that we have is the balance sheet reflecting the monies that we currently have in our accounts as of January 31st, 2025. And you see the balance of that, which is mostly capital and capital improvement, grand total of $7,185,614.50. We have our first report from Edmonds, and as it is the first report of the year, very little has been done except for the approximately $437,000 on the bill list. We have to make some adjustments. We've gotten our final numbers for health insurance for this year, for PERS, and for the liabilities in regards to insurance. So we have to update that for the next month's report. Your third report is your bill list. And this month, almost because of the date, that we had for this board meeting that extended an extra week. We try to get the bills in almost to the end. We have bills that really reflect the end of December, January, and the first half of February. The largest amount on this bill really is part of the main renovations that are being paid to D. Meyer and Company. We also have the down payment for our automated material handling. And the PERS was the third biggest amount of monies in this month. The bill list as a total comes out to $437,450.57. We did receive our first quarterly allotment from the township today, and I believe it will be, if it was not deposited today, it will be deposited tomorrow. So we want to thank the township for getting us our check on time, and with a lot of documentation that they had not given us before. So that was really a good start to the new year.
Great. Question. We're up to date for this year, but are we up to date from last year and the year before?
Yes, they
So
didn't know us any.
it's all zeroed out now.
All zeroed out. Because last year, they really weren't handing anything for us except for the health insurance, the PERS, and the liability. Basically, all the other bills were paid for us. There was no money that they were holding on our behalf. The last monies that we received was the 2023s, and that would be the last that we would get unless something strange happened.
No, I just was curious because it's been reported on social media that we're stealing money.
Oh, well, you know, what can
And
I tell you?
it was actually, reported by someone who has a lot of years working for a certain individual. And they were accusing, but I read it and I started to giggle because I knew about previous years and told all of the dollars and cents and all the rigmarole that we went through for the past 2 years. Now it's finally become, now it's there, it's in line. So I want to thank the administration for that. I want to thank you for your diligence, and it gives us good footing for what we're doing, because none of us, we take a lot of time, but you, the administration, were the ones that were backing all of the situation that I can actually say now that it worked out for us. So there wasn't those meetings that we had to go to closed session and argue and scream about things that we weren't getting done. So I just like to thank the administration, if I can, for working diligently and working with the other administrations to take in and come up with, finally, to get it done the right way. So it wasn't us, it wasn't them, it was a collaboration of us together, working with Margot Harris and the township people, because that's where the glitch was. It was this year and that year and this year and we just couldn't get it done. But finally, with negotiations and stuff, I'm really glad to hear that it's back to zero. So we're working together now. For some reason, we couldn't get to zero. But thank you, Alan, thank you. And I gotta be honest with you, at times, I didn't like it, I didn't appreciate it. But now we've come to a zero. That's tremendous. Now let's move forward. Let's continue to move forward. We have the North Edison facility that has to get worked on. We have the rest of this facility to work on. I'm looking forward to some great ideas with Clara Barton. To be perfectly honest, if I had whatever I could do, there was some property over there on South Edison off of Woodbridge Avenue. Would have been a great extension to our library.
Not to cut you off, but we're gonna have a board member comment, so if you wanna continue what you're saying at that point, then
Yeah, sure.
that'd be great. But I appreciate, because I agree with you 100%. We're definitely in a good place with the township and that relationship there, and definitely, you know, like I
It's getting
said,
better.
we're able to move forward, so. All right, so we're at the motion to,
We need a motion and a
Yes.
second to approve the bill.
motion to approve the bill list?
I think I'm the motion. I would like to make that.
Okay, sure. Second?
Second.
All right, roll call?
Ms. Mead,
Yeah.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Kabadi,
Yes.
Ms. Singh,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes,
and Mr. Di Pasquale.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the director's report, the assistant director's report.
Would you like to start first?
Oh, sure. So we've been very busy. Last month, we spent a lot of time moving the stuff from the ground floor up to the first floor. As many of you have seen now, we have a limited collection, but I think it's going pretty smoothly considering the small amount of space that we have. The ground floor, they're starting to work on, so that is super exciting. We also have been interviewing to add a few people to our technology department, which is desperately needed. And I did want to highlight a few upcoming programs. We have an ESL interest workshop on next Wednesday from 6 to 8. I think it'll be to see people's interest in maybe having a conversation group. Then that's at the main library. On Thursday, 4 to 4:30, we're having a bilingual story time at the North Edison branch. And we also are having on Fridays, computer support open hours at, I think they're at North. Actually, I didn't write that down. Sorry. I can get back to you if anyone has any questions.
To follow up, Deborah, they have started already to rip down the ceiling and all the lights on the first floor. So that's exciting. Tomorrow, we will be getting our new furniture order for the second floor. It's gonna take 3 or 4 days for that to be installed. So we're anticipating having new tables. The next time you sit here, we will have new tables, new chairs around the upper level here. So it's gonna take us 3 or 4 days to put all this furniture together. So I hope the board and the public will come back next week and take a look at the new upper level. We can never figure out what we call it, the second floor, the first floor, the upper level or the lower level. Every one of us calls it something different. So so far the upper level, I guess. The North Edison branch, we're really excited. Everything has come together, fortunately, all at once. So we will be within the next couple of days signing the lease for us at 1907 Oak Tree Road, which we will be temporarily at for approximately 15 to 16 months. Once we have the lease and the keys next week, we will start to move some of the smaller things there to get ready. The last day for public service at the North Edison branch will be Saturday, March 1st. The movers will be in there on Monday, March 3rd. Their first move is to move some essentials to 1907, and then it will take them 2 weeks to pack up all the books and all the remaining furniture and shelving to put into storage for the 15 months. Overlapping with that, We are still waiting, for Palpro. I guess any day they'll hear about, the, permits. But they are expected on that week of the 3rd, to start overlapping, with the movers. We expect that we will be closed 2 or 3 days, between the Saturday, we're closed on Sunday usually at North. We will probably reopen on Wednesday, at 1907. We need 2 days to get everything hooked up, wired, all that stuff, books unpacked and all that stuff. So, the more we can do next week, the less time we'll need, once we get in there. So that's really, exciting. All of this has come crazy all at once. We talked about it for the last couple of weeks. I do want to say a special thank you to our attorney, who has helped us, get through this, mess. He's, been, a pleasure to work with. And so we're really, really excited. So, in your packet, I know it's kind of small, but there are some of the drawings that the architect used, when they submitted the plan to the township. So that kind of looks like this. And these will all be up on the website tomorrow as well. They'll be scanned, they're a little small. Basically, for all of you who know the North Edison branch, it's a triangle. And so, the narrow end is closer, to the end of the building, where the, fireman's monument is. And it's sort of, I guess, what's the word? That stretches out, but it kind of makes that extends, let's say. So basically, four major things are happening at that library. We're adding 2 small additions on the back corners to kind of fill in that triangle. One is slated at this point to be an adult reading room. The other is slated to be a periodical room. We have not done anything that we haven't done any furniture layouts or anything like that. The other bit is the children's room is getting a little bit more space because we're dismantling that closed glass room, and that's going to give us a lot more space in the children's room. Those 2 bathrooms in the front of the children's room will be removed because they have separated from the building. Instead of 2 entrances, there'll be 1 main entrance for people to go through. But I think from a community standpoint, we are gaining approximately 4,000 extra square feet. But from a community engagement point of view, we will be getting a second meeting room or auditorium or whatever you want to call it, which will hold approximately 125 people. It's on the same side as the current meeting room. So that will actually then have 2 large meeting rooms. We're getting, as part of the new entrance, new staff offices, new bathrooms to make up for the bathrooms that we're losing in the children's room. Another exciting part is the end of the library at the back, between the back of the library and the Fireman's Monument. We'll be working with a bunch of community groups to install a rain garden. And that's going to be how we do the runoff. So it really is a very exciting project. And, you know, I think it's taken a little bit longer than we thought it would. But I think it was well worth waiting for because it's actually going to be done right. And I think that when we're through, the community will be very, very pleased with what we'll be able to offer. I did forget a gallery. Will also be as well. So we'll be able to do a whole bunch of different things that we have not been able to do now. I think given the, triangle that we have, I think, our architect has done, really well with the limited space, because we've got sidewalks, we've got Grove on one side and Library Place on the other, there wasn't too far we could go. And we certainly would not want to do anything with the Fireman's Monument. It's kind of an Edison, kind of, what would you call it? Not shrine, but it's an Edison historic place. If you've never been there, it's kind of moving to see that it's part of Edison's history because it's about the early fire departments. So that's kind of this, and we're gonna try to see if we'll blow it up. Michael will be able to do this on the other printer, and we'll have this in the new 1907. And we should be able to have one of these or two of these around over here as well. The second project that we've been working on for a while, Michael, if you wanna come and help me, he's getting stuck doing this because he was my partner in crime pretty much through this whole process. So for those of you, Michael is the library's marketing and civic engagement manager, community engagement. And so the library contracted with Myth partners to do create a new logo for us. So in my tenure, we've had several different versions of the same logo, and they've always been about the light bulb. And part of this when we started the strategic plan 2 years ago was the library's not about the light bulb. The library is about more. How do we make our own identity? And so we started with Myth had several people with I guess there were hour-long conversations. Deborah was in that first group. Sarah was in that first group, right? To talk about the library and what the library means to them, and how they would like to see if the library logo, what it would mean to them. The second group was more of a focus group, hands-on group, in which we looked at what were the type of logos that people had and how we reacted to it. And what they came back as a result was they came back with 3 different concepts for Michael and I to work with. So concept 1 is not the light bulb. Concept 1 is this first one that shows Edison Public Library. We kind of was saying this was the light.
Yeah, what it represents, one of the things that I wanted to stay away from was the concept of the book, because every library logo is an open book. Almost every single library logo is an open book. And what they did, I think you probably have the explanations of all the different symbology in each of these, is they did take the book iconography, but they played with it. So they took the symbol E for Edison and they ran with it. That represents the open book. So you have Edison being represented, the idea of the library and the book being represented in the way that they arranged in a circle. It gives off that idea of the spark, the light bulb, the Edison incarnate, essentially. So that's where the concept behind this particular logo comes in. And they gave us different placements, different arrangements of the E and how it could be used in different colors, color formats and all of that. As well as real world usages, and then the branches are separated by color. I think they put probably some business cards in there showing this logo.
I didn't put all of these because it was like 80 pages.
Yeah, no, it was good.
But we have copies of what the branch colors might be, copies of what flyers might look like, if we use that as the logo. And truthfully, it was the first one we saw, and we said, oh, this is nice. Okay, so show me more. So concept number 2 was a little bit different.
Concept number 2, to me, was a little bit more basic, just Edison Public Library with a few, intersecting moments. Well, non-parallel moments going through it. They did play a little bit with the placement and the way that the Edison Public Library is laid out. But it was, in my eyes, a little less impressive. I mean, it still works as a logo. It is something, it does convey a separate identity to what they did what we were asking for. No light bulb, no book. It works as a logo, but I don't feel it really worked well in the view going there.
And then we got to number 3. And the group was looking for something, a logo that the word should be imaginative, provocative, and experimental. To go with, a new Edison. And so this was logo number 3.
This one is the most abstract of them all, but you probably have the breakdown of where they came up with the symbology in it. Whereas you have the book, the open book, the squiggly line at the bottom. You have the 4 crossing bars to represent each of the branches as well as the bookmobile. And those 4 bars intersecting create the spark, the light that symbolizes this. Now, because this one is so abstract, by itself, it works as a logo. With the Edison Public Library, it gets the point across. However, I feel like the company really went above and beyond in showing how it could be utilized with AI tools to give it more power and more impact. Just giving it different color and textures using AI, I believe in some of the different branch designations, but they also went and put it in real world use cases in posters and in some of our social media posts where they used the logo as an illustration for what they were, what those moments were about. Like the monsters one, or the Diwali one. But even this logo can be used in different aspects in that we can take popular books and work the logo into images within the books themselves. I mean, I think one of their really reminds me of the book Holmes. You have a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea kind of image in there. So this one by itself works as a logo, but when paired with the AI tools that can be available to us, really pushes it and makes it something special.
It really, I think we were both on this thing, we didn't say anything to each other. And I kind of said, this kind of like this is kind of a logo that I would expect one of the largest libraries in the country to have come up with. It kind of has this wow factor. And particularly when I looked at these library cards, which they had done for us as just samples, and looked at those 4 and go, ooh, and this was kind of the wow factor. I mean, I think we are about to take off in many ways. And I think this closely begins to align more with where we want to go. And have a little bit more, I would say, out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I think so.
So, to blame this on Josie.
Not feeling it.
So I have a question, what's the process next? What happens?
Well, there really is no process.
Oh.
I mean, I think if the board said they hated every one of these things, we'd have to go back. But basically, it's our recommendation that we move ahead with number 3. I don't know if we need a board vote, because it wasn't a board vote, it was kind of like, but I would like to hear what and I know it's the first time you're seeing this. I think, Tony, did I show this to you before?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I'll start off here, here's some lawyers and comments now, or you want to wait till?
what-
So even with mistakes, because
you want to say something? Okay.
This one, Find Your People at the Library, I love. I was very early in the process. And one of the things that in the hour-long conversation we had was, I think it was them, that we talked about how the library is really a crossroads where a lot of different people from different communities come in and meet each other. So I felt like this one was really captured the essence of it. I also am a total footnote junkie, so I really love like asterisks and number ones and little things that you'll find at the end of whatever sentence. And it reminds me of an asterisk, which is really like, take note, there's something else going on here, notice this. So I really liked the third one. I also do like the first one, but I think the third one is better.
Yeah, I think we went, really, it was 3, 2, 1.
No, 3, 1, 2.
3, 1, 2, yeah.
Would you like to hear it from the board?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll start
If I
off.
didn't really want to, I would have just done it.
I'll start off. Yeah, when you first started talking, I was leaning towards 1, but I'm looking at 3, all the different examples that they're giving. And what I know about marketing, which is probably not a whole lot, but you want to have something that people remember. Like, that's the whole point of marketing. You have a logo, and you have something that they'll, if you have a book or if you have something basic, it's gonna just be like, all right. But, you look at something like this and it's like, huh, it makes you think, like what's, so I see the out of the box ideas that you're talking about. And, I think it'll give people that more of a thinking of why is that the logo for the Edison Library? And it makes you think more about that. The only thing I would say is what I do like that I don't see in some of the other ones is this here, where you have the lines of the book. If those lines were like throughout even more on,
For the
the
pages,
other things, yeah, the other ones, if you had a little bit more
the pages.
of the lines, yeah, that would give you a little bit more of what that
Oh, I see.
V is, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's just,
A lot of them do show that.
like this here, I'd be like, oh, great, it's a planter. But if there was something that was kind of again, I'm not a marketing person.
No, I get what you're saying.
But that, to me, that would give us more the idea of, that's a book, and the book's open, and you have that, the logo for me is more of a, like I said, it doesn't really have to go along with the library in a sense. It's something that people will remember.
With how
Is what I'm
abstract it is.
Yes,
It's going to take,
that's what I'm saying.
with how abstract it is, it's going to take some training.
Yes.
For people to recognize it. And when it's paired with, you have the logo with Edison Public Library, and people will see that enough. Then eventually, when they see just the logo, they'll make that, it's kind of like the Verizon V, where they have that little check mark.
Yeah, right.
Like, you recognize the V itself, the check mark itself as Verizon's logo, because of how often we've seen it as the V in the
Right,
word.
That's,
Yeah.
So it kind of goes along with that.
right, and that's, yeah.
For the names.
Anybody else? Yes.
I love the bulb. I'm going back to the previous one. It's my thing, because it was a sign of looking at that, you don't have to explain that library belonged to where. It's Edison, Thomas. It's a sign of innovation, electricity, creativity, discovery, and there is a book. So I like that logo, but the new one I'm looking at, it's very creative, but it's really hard to understand what it means. Like the first one I'm looking at, and I know that we have tried to capture Edison, and tried to show it in a way that there is a book into it, but it's hard to understand. So I don't know, I love bulb, but yeah, I like the ideas that, new ideas that, you guys have come up with, but I'm missing bulb over there.
You know what also intrigued me, the fact that number 3, really, we can go anywhere with it, with using AI and being much more creative in what we produce for our public, to actually even make them think about the flyers and posters that we do. And because when I looked at some of those, like the ones with the flowers and some of those others, for the first time, I went, wow. So let's see, maybe 1 year from now, where we are. I think that will give us a good idea. I think we're regenerating ourselves. We're in the middle of a regenerative process, just by the nature of us doing all these renovations, which was the number one thing that people wanted to see. Last time we did a strategic plan. Hopefully we can get you to come around. How's that?
Okay.
So we can always make you a ball, using these ones. The logo, the asterisk itself is the glowing portion of it. You have the book in the bottom of the light bulb and the bulb around it, so we can do one for you.
For me?
Yeah,
For you?
it could be your library.
But you see that, I think this whole thing about having multiple library cards, to suit your personality or to suit what kind of adventure you want to go on. I mean, a lot of libraries do that. They have multiple library cards. A different one for children than adults, and and a lot of them do special edition cards that people get excited about getting a library card because it's something new and something special. That's what I hope, come and get your new, and I would love to see our Edison one that we currently have, people coming in and say, I want a new library card. I want a new library card. Then we know we've actually sparked their imagination with this. And I think there's probably some other kinds of things we can do to get it introduced. And we probably would probably kick off in, I would say, April, maybe National Library Week. We might do that. I think that's a good time if we can get all this stuff ready to have new library cards, to do whatever, National Library Week, celebrate Edison Public Library kind of stuff. That gives us
6 weeks.
Yeah.
If not, we could do library card design, which is
Or
quite a bit
some,
later.
yeah, library card always in September.
Yeah. I also like the book, because it implies motion, and I feel like libraries are always, we're always evolving. So I like that about it as well, but I want all of the cards.
One of those.
I'd like to have one of each.
That could be possible.
Anybody else? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
for the branding of the library logo, this is Edison Library's logo. We have to have big logo in front of the library so that, and also in the book mobiles and all that, when marketing is done. I think the third one is has a depth to it and have different kinds of cards. Open book concept is good. But anywhere it's not showing any people, the one which has this one, this is my favorite one with the people. The library is for the people, and that's concept and surrounding the circle closes that. It's an open concept of that crossroads where we are, the libraries and in general. So I go with the 3 with the AI, different cards and different things, which is great. So I'll have my own personalized card.
Whichever card you like. And I think that might be unique around here for libraries. You know, pick out a card that means, you know, and I'm gonna say it's not funny, but, you know, you can choose your credit card, you can get different pictures on it, you can do whatever. It's kind of the same thing, you know, pick a card that meets the personality. If you're a science fiction person, maybe you want a card that has a space theme. If you're a mystery person, maybe you want something that has a mystery theme or a murder theme on it. I mean, I think we could be really unique in this. And I think that would create a really interesting buzz for our patrons. And maybe get those people who aren't using the library to say, oh, maybe I need to check out the library. It's not the same library that it was 20 years ago when I was a kid.
You want someone to pull the card out of their wallet and someone to be like, hey, where'd you get that card from?
Yeah.
Like with the credit cards, right?
Yeah.
So my only comment is if these AI images weren't there for the third one, I don't know if I would have gone with that one at all because
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of from like I know when kids look at it, they're just gonna see an asterisk with a book under it, right? Like, or if they even get that it's a book underneath it. I really liked the first one. I thought it was very abstract. Honestly, to me, I'm like, if you throw a book under the first one, it becomes a fancier version of the third one. Because the first one is just an asterisk, but if we're gonna have to go with one, I mean, I guess the third one is the best, but it's mostly because of the imagery. Is there any reason why we didn't get imagery with the rest of them, or is that because they wanted to explain the third one?
I think they felt the same way that you did. It's like it is the planners that evolved, without a doubt. Just
Yeah.
looking at just 2 symbols followed by Edison Public Library. I
Right.
think they saw that themselves, the designers saw that themselves, and they said, well, how can we push this?
Oh.
Because I feel exactly the same way you did, without the AI additions to it, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I would gravitate to the first one exactly myself. But if we're going to really push ourselves and show the depth of the Edison Public Library, I think going and adopting these new technologies, is, you know,
No, I mean,
do that.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool. So I guess the only other question would be if, like, let's say wherever it is just a logo, would it always be like the way that it's shown where it would always be colorful or something, or is it gonna be black and white? With just a book underneath it in some places?
I mean, we can play with the color.
Okay.
So yeah, it's another great thing that they did is that they didn't constrain us with a color palette.
Sure.
That's one of the issues that we have with the light bulb, is that it's blue and yellow. So we have to play with blue and yellow looking books. And as the designer, it's difficult. So being able to play with other color palettes and have that freedom, they gave us that freedom in all 3 designs, and I was grateful to them for that.
No, because it looks really nice when it is like fleshed out like this.
The thing about the first one, which I do really like, and especially after you gave the description, is to me, it looks like the New Mexico sun. You know, that the state uses. So then I'm like,
New Mexico.
yeah, so,
But I also like how that one can be patterned. I
yeah.
don't know if you have that in the gym, but, they give us like a repeating pattern.
Yeah, yeah.
background.
Yeah.
And that was a nice way to
Yeah.
use it.
Those are
Well,
fun.
can't you merge the first one and the third one?
Probably,
Yeah,
In
'cause I
some
mean,
of the places, like, you know, like, something like that, have
Yeah.
that in there, I mean, you know, you could always do that also. So,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's another idea.
Yeah.
That you can have, so.
yeah, 'cause I think the first one gives that concept of light a lot better than just an asterisk, because the asterisk is kind of like a black hole then. Versus having that in the middle, which looks like a sun, which I think they're trying to say that this is, right? So, or they explained the first one is the light from the sun rather than a light bulb. So.
Yeah.
I think whatever we choose, having a big banner helps us to do the branding of it. This is Edison Library, anywhere, anyone can say this is the library logo. However, we do it, the big banner printing, when we open up an main library opening or North Edison, when it is done, everyone should know this is the logo of library and the community, and wherever we go, have the big banner so that it things in their brains.
Are we, throughout the library, gonna have the logo, like, on the pull-up banners or whatever on the wall? All right, so it's gonna be a whole.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole rebranding of the outside of the buildings too.
Good,
I mean, because otherwise, it makes sense.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, no, it's great. Okay, very cool, thank you. Yeah, great work, very good work.
Thank you. It was fun.
Helen, how long will this branding take, or how long will this? I'm asking for a reason.
We can start using it tomorrow. I mean, we've got to
Well,
get.
we have to confirm it with them. It won't take long to get final confirmation with the design team. We just have to tell them which one we're choosing.
Yeah.
And then they officially hand it over to us, but that wouldn't take long. Are you asking how long it would take to change?
Well, what I'm saying is the transition. So in other words, if we made a decision tonight, it could be within a month.
Probably within a month. I mean, getting banners ordered would be the biggest hurdle, I think.
Right.
Because we would have to get them ordered externally. Lead time on them, I'd say 2 months at the most.
April first week that coincides with the month of library,
Yeah, National Library.
National Library.
So, yeah, I think at that point, if I'm being conservative, 2 months, but we could probably do it within 4 to 6 weeks.
Great. Do we have to make a decision tonight?
Well, this is their decision to do.
Yeah.
We don't vote on that,
Okay,
so that's.
We just appreciate your love.
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I like them all. I like them all.
So did we.
You know,
I mean, that's the hard part.
I'm really sentimental when it comes to the Edison Light Tower. You know? I understand what's going on. The Edison Library, like, it's the nucleus. It's the nucleus of the library. So I like rebranding it, I really do. I would really love to see, the Edison Light Tower. And spin-off, like the Clara Barton Library, the main library. Yeah, the North Edison. Yeah, but I think the public, I think that we, the board of trustees, should be able to take in to move forward. For a couple of years, we've been moving forward, but it's been slow. So whichever way you want to go, I'll go for it. You got my support 100% on vote, but like being told, I don't have to, yeah, let's rebrand the name. The Edison Library, if we can take and put that together with banners, take a banner, my opinion, take a banner and put it over the Edison, our library. Put it over, like when you pull up and you walk up and you see the Edison Library. To put a banner over it. Okay? And we unveiled the new name or the new logo. And coincide with Library Week or whatever, how we can do that. To take in to show the public. We listened, we heard you, and we're not rebranded, but we're moving forward, and that to me would be 100% only my opinion.
That's great. Cool. All right. We can move on.
And, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are not here, and it's 6. I'm just looking at that.
Is there a 4 and 5?
There's no 4 and 5.
All right, so we go to 6.
Mine is 15 too, so we're missing 4 through, we're missing 4 through 12. The conspiracy.
Don't you just love Microsoft Word? It renumbers everything for you, no matter what you do. So the last thing I think, board president already talked about, Clara Barton Branch Community Conversation, which, we hope to get, started. We're gonna be picking out the dates. The first 2 will be March and April, and we hope to invite members of the public community, leaders to talk about what they would like to see the Clara Barton Library be and what we can do for the community that is not being done. So it's kind of a two-way street. And I think it's both. What does community residents feel, what are the gaps that the library can fill that's not being met in that community? And how could we be better partners with the people that live in the Clara Barton section of Edison? So I'm looking forward to that. That should be exciting, and we're gonna be picking dates within the next couple of days, probably. The last thing, which I think you alluded to, which is next Monday at 11 o'clock, is the groundbreaking for the North Edison branch. I think the news release has gone out. The board has all been notified. We've working on the officials list. We've got, tomorrow I'll send you the list of who has said that yes. We're really excited. Rain date is the 27th, right? I should say rain, sleet, snow, or hail date is the 27th. At this point, it looks like it should be fine. And we will be having a little ceremony both inside and out, and have some refreshments. So please get the word out, and we'd like to see the North Edison community be there. So a lot going on. It's all happening all at once.
Yeah, great, thank you. And I just want to finish that up by thanking Alan and Deborah and Joe. As Alan said, there's a lot going on, and just the team atmosphere of what's been happening is there. Everybody's working with each other very well. We know what we need to do. We know what the vision is to move things forward. And that's why we're at a place now where we can continue to move forward in what's happening in the library. So, so it's a lot of exciting stuff going on. Okay, so next, committees have not met yet. They will be starting this month, and next month they have been created on who is on each committee. And, as you'll see later, we did make some adjustments to some of the committee names. Unfinished business. Resolution to approve the newspaper record. Alan, if you can read that.
Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Edison Public Library that the following are hereby designated as the official newspapers of the Free Public Library of Edison Township for the purpose of publication of all legal notices to the extent permitted by law, and to the extent each publication complies with the legal requirements for official newspapers for municipalities. The Home News Tribune, Neptune, New Jersey, the Star Ledger, Newark, New Jersey, and News India Times, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Is there any comments?
It's about time.
Roll call,
About
please.
time.
Roll call.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Oh.
Ms. Mead,
Yeah.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Kabadi,
Yes.
Ms. Singh,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes,
and Mr. Di Pasquale.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll go to new business. Resolution extending the time allotted for public comments and library board meetings. You can read that first, Scott?
For this one, I need my glasses. Whereas the Edison Township Library Board of Trustees, the library board is committed to transparency, civic engagement, and ensuring that all members of the public have a meaningful opportunity to express their views at board meetings. And whereas the board recognizes that public input is a vital part of its decision-making process and wishes to facilitate a more comprehensive exchange of ideas by extending the allotted time for individual public comments. And whereas the board's current public comment policy allows each speaker up to 3 minutes to address the board, and members of the public have expressed interest in additional time to articulate their concerns and perspectives. And whereas after due consideration, the board has determined that extending the individual public comment period from 3 minutes to 4 minutes will enhance public participation without unduly prolonging the length of meetings. And now therefore be it resolved by the, okay, oops, we've got to change that.
We gotta change that.
By the, Board of Trustees of the Free Public Library of Edison, New Jersey, hereby amends its public comment policy to extend the time limit for individual public comments at board meetings from 3 minutes to 4 minutes, effective immediately. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you. And I have a motion.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any more comments?
Why 4 minutes? You didn't want to extend it, to match the council's minutes?
Actually, for the first meeting in January, I allotted extra time, even though it was 3 minutes to everybody. And I basically gave an extra minute just because the flow of it was fine. So that's why I figured 4 minutes would be a good time to extend it to. And I will say that, we're gonna keep to that 4 minutes, but if somebody has an idea that they're still going, there will be some flexibility with that. I mean, we're not gonna go to 10 minutes, but there will be some flexibility to that time. But we do wanna have, a hard set rule of 4 minutes, and then, again, we'll just kind of take it as it goes, during the public comment. So that's the reasoning I felt to do that. It had nothing to do with, oh, the council has this or that. It's what I thought would be good.
okay,
Yeah.
Extending the time is great. I mean, I would have wanted to go a bit further, but as long as the public has, as long as the public has the expectation of maybe going a little bit further. See, it's a slippery slope. By having someone's comment cut, even though you say that it can be extended. I'm for extending it to 4 minutes. I am really, I'm happy that you would give the opportunity to people who are speaking to have an extra allotted time. So if there was any way to vote for that, 6 minutes at certain times is too much, and then sometimes it's not, so. I appreciate this to go to 4 minutes. I won't hold back on it. But, as long as I have people that will take and listen to allow people to discuss. Now, that's the only problem I have with it, and it becomes prejudicial in a way. And when you talk about transparency and you talk about the public, this is the only, like at council meetings and board meetings, Board of Ed meetings, the only way that they can express their feeling. Now, I do understand that there are people that play to the camera, so by extending it to 4 minutes and by allowing people to move forward a little bit, as long as it doesn't become prejudicial, I'm for it.
Yeah, and let me, let me just say, I mean, I wanna give the flexibility as much as we can, but we also wanna look at the efficiency of the meeting and, so I mean, it's not to say that we do 4 minutes and then, we look at it in 6 months and we feel that we need to go to 5 because people are, they do need more time to express. I mean, I think it's open for us to be able to do that in the future, but to go from 3 minutes to 6 minutes, to me, it's too big of a jump. And that's kind of my thought was, let's go for a minute and we'll see where it goes. I mean, I think that's, it's fair for us, it's fair for the efficiency of the meeting and fair to the residents. So is anybody else? Any other comments? All right, can we do a roll call?
Ms. Mead?
We did a motion.
Yes.
Did we do a motion?
Motion
Oh,
is second.
yeah, we did a motion.
Ms. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Pam?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yeah.
Ms. Kabadi?
Yes.
Ms. Singh?
Yes.
Mr. Romano?
Yes,
Mr. D. Boswell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, and we have the resolution amending the bylaws of the Edison Public Library Board of Trustees to establish the Patron Services Committee.
It's about an hour and a half. Whereas the Edison Township Library Board of Trustees is committed to enhancing its committee structure to better serve the community and ensure efficient governance. And whereas Article 10 of the Library Board's bylaws titled Committees currently recognizes the following standing committees: Facilities, Finance, Materials Review, Personnel, Policy and Bylaws, and Strategic Planning. And whereas the Library Board has determined that the existing Policy and Bylaws Committee and Materials Review Committee should be consolidated and restructured to more comprehensively address patron-related matters. And whereas to achieve this goal, the Library Board seeks to amend its bylaws to replace the Policy and Bylaws Committee and the Materials Review Committee with a newly established Patron Services Committee. And therefore, be it resolved by the Library Board that the Library Board hereby establishes the Patron Services Committee, replacing the existing Policy and Bylaws Committee and Materials Review Committee to streamline governance and improve patron-focused services. And be it resolved that Article 10 committees of the Library Board's bylaws is hereby amended as follows, with additions in italics, bold, and deletion. Article 10. The president may appoint such committees or one or more members of such specific purposes as the business of the board may require from time to time. If it shall appear that the purpose of a need for any committee may be long-term, the board may confer the status of standing committee. Thereupon, it shall be the duty of the president to appoint such committee each year promptly at the annual meeting. Otherwise, the committee shall be considered to be discharged upon completion of the purpose for which it was appointed. B, standing committee shall be A, facilities, B, finance, C, D, E, are being, I'm sorry, C is being deleted. E is being deleted, so that remains personnel, strategic planning, and the new C becomes patron services committee, which includes policy and bylaws and materials reviews. All committees shall be advisory to the board. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Can I have a motion?
Tony?
Well, we gotta do a motion in a second first.
Motion.
Oh.
I just wanted to say one thing. Could we have Alan say that all over again? I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
Is that a motion?
Motion, can I have a second?
This you gotta blame on me.
I'll explain it.
This you gotta blame on me.
Do we have a second? Second? Okay. Board comments. I will say, yes, this idea from Alan in a discussion that we had. And I agree with Alan and, yeah, I was looking at all the committees and, we have what, 9 or 8 people on the board. For everybody to spread out on all these committees, you have like one person per committee. So it made sense to combine these committees. And again, it's for more efficiency of what we're doing. So does anybody else have any other comments?
I just want to hear him say it again.
Right now, there are 4 committees,
There's
3 committees only, or?
5.
No.
I'm sorry.
How many committees she said?
How many resolution, it should be, 3 committees.
There'll be 3
Three,
committees.
that's where is the facilities?
So the committees still exist,
Right.
finance still exists,
Right.
personnel still exists,
Okay,
strategic planning still exists, and the 5th is patron services
Okay.
committee.
Okay.
just renaming the bylaw, policies and bylaws to the.
And material review is
Combining
all
it.
in the patron services committee.
Okay,
Okay, I thought you were getting rid of personnel and strategic planning.
yeah, that's,
No,
No.
No.
they're still there.
and we had 3, and I said,
Yeah.
that's why.
You said,
So the wording was a little confusing.
Yeah, the
It
wording.
said Patron services would now become C, and that's where,
So if I could just jump in, so when you look at the resolution, it's easier to follow. You italicize and you bold to make it clear where, and you bracket what's being removed. So when you look at it, it's clearer to see. So that's,
Got
it's
it.
a little confusing when it's just.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Washington last name, Francis Topper.
All right, if there's no other comments, then we have a roll call, please.
Yes, Ms. Mead,
yes,
Ms. Pam,
Yes,
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Kabadi,
Yes.
Ms. Singh,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
and Mr. Di Pasquale.
Yes,
Motion carries.
motion carries. And then the resolution to approve the renewal of the library's current CD due on March 9th for another 6 months.
All righty, now, we have a little bit of a problem. The CDs are due on March 9th, which is before our next board meeting,
Right,
right? Which is why we have to do it today.
right.
Usually what happens is, I email the bank and they will give me the CD rates as of today with a proviso. Obviously, that's almost, 3 weeks away. I did not get a response back.
Okay.
So, I have 2 possible scenarios, thoughts. Scenario number 1 is if the board, approves, to allow the board president and the treasurer, between now and the next meeting to review, the CDs, and make a decision of whether we would renew them or not on behalf of the library board. The other option, which, I also, looked at when we looked at cash flow, is we're now spending quite a lot, as you saw, as this board meeting, on buildings.
Mhm.
And so I, also would still have to be determined by the board. I don't want to necessarily call a special meeting.
Right.
Is that, I am recommending to the board as a whole and could discuss it now, is that, we would renew the, one CD for the $1 million for 6 months, one CD of 500,000 for 6 months, and one CD for 500,000 for 3 months. Because we're gonna need it for cash flow to pay for the bills coming in. Either way, that's not a decision I can make on my own. I mean, if the board would like to accept any of those two, or the board would like to have the treasurer and the board president consult with the director, either way is fine with me. Once we got the numbers, and then that would mean we could do that on the Friday before or the Thursday before the March 9th deadline. So we could get an extremely accurate number by waiting too close to that date. So either one of those, I would recommend would need some kind of resolution, either way.
Anybody have any input on how we should handle this? Yes,
I think Alan and the rest of his team quite capable of coming up with the best solution at the time. With respect to the board president, as long as you're involved, I don't have any problem with that. To be honest with you, I understand dates and, you know, construction costs, this, that, and the other. So, I would just defer to Alan and yourself, that the board president, to come up with the best possible plan. We don't know, we could have a delay. It would be best that you confer with the people at the library. In fact, you know, not for nothing, they're getting paid to do the job. And all we're here to take in to, see that it runs well. So I have complete confidence in the library people, and yourself to do the right thing, for us. That's only my opinion.
yeah, and I would say, you know, I mean, Trains has a finance background, so our treasurer is somebody that I would say we, you know, can defer to also in making that.
I don't think.
No, I'm just saying, that's, you know, so I mean.
I didn't mean anything bad.
No, I know.
The thing is, could we do, I mean, let me just say, you guys, we'll still have more time to speak, but can we do a resolution just authorizing the treasurer or the director, treasurer and the president to make that decision? Is that something we could do? Okay.
Absolutely, and then
All
we'll
right.
just reduce it to
I
writing.
just wanted to see that. If anybody else has any other discussions, that's fine.
That's
If
fine.
you're good with just doing that, then me and Trans could just get together with Alan and we can just come up with that decision. If you guys are good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
You can make a motion for that resolution, yeah.
all right, do I need to word the resolution or how?
No,
Okay.
just make a
All right,
motion.
just, I'd like to make a motion to,
Second.
second, all right, do we have a roll call?
Ms. Mead,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Gabati,
Yes.
Ms. Singh,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes,
Mr. Di Pasquale.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're coming up to public comment and we are going to start with the 4 minutes, as the resolution said, it starts immediately. And I'm gonna be reading this before each public comment, and then we'll go forward with it. During the open portion of its meeting, the library board provides the public with an opportunity to offer comments regarding matters pertaining to the library. Pursuant to provisions of the Open Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12, the board is entitled to permit, regulate, or prohibit public participation in its meetings. Each speaker will have a maximum of 4 minutes to speak and should limit comments to matters pertaining to the library. The speaker will be directed to conclude their remarks once the time has expired. A speaker may not speak more than once during the same public comment period. No time may be yielded to a speaker by another. Speakers are asked to begin their remarks by stating their name and address. Board members are not obligated to answer impromptu questions or address remarks from members of the public during the public comment period. Speakers should expect the board to refrain from engaging in a dialogue except to extend necessary to clarify the speaker's comments. The allotted time for speaking is the only method to address the board during the public comment period. The board will not entertain questions or comments called out from the audience. When appropriate, the board may refer inquiries and items brought up during the public comment to the director or other staff for follow-up. Speakers and members of the public should at all times maintain proper decorum and shall make their comments in a civil manner. Personal attacks, obscenities, derogatory or slanderous remarks will not be tolerated. Any person who disrupts a meeting by making a personal attack or individual library board members, the entire library, or the library staff shall be asked to cease that behavior immediately by the board president. If such improper conduct continues, the person may be removed from the room in accordance with the board rule of conduct. Okay, and I'm going to get the timer set. And do we have anybody? If you could just raise your hand, and I am going to have the stopwatch in front of our lawyer, so we can.
I guess, do I approach the desk or can I?
You can just stand right there and say your name and address, and that'll be.
Sure, Susan Del Conte, 960 New Dover Road. I wanted to make a comment about the branding, presentation. I think it's a wonderful idea. And while I would also cast my vote for number 3, I wanted to kind of hesitate just a little bit because the logo looked really familiar, and I'm kind of surprised that I'm not surprised that most of you didn't recognize it as the logo for the band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who successfully sued a clothing company in 2008 for using the same 8-legged asterisk symbol on their clothing. And they sued this guy for $11 million. So before we use it, I'm just thinking maybe we should modify it a little bit so it's not so chili pepperish. But you know what, but I also saw, as I was looking at it, the letter E in, you know, like kind of in the spokes. So I think there's some wiggle room, but I just wanted to throw that out there that, you know, the last thing I want Edison to have is bad publicity.
Yeah.
Not that the Chili Peppers would necessarily go after a public library. But you know, stranger things have happened in Edison in the last couple of months, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
I will
And
say.
it's called the Star of Affinity is the asterisk symbol.
Oh, wow.
Can we check on that, just to make sure?
I do think that it is unique, and that one little swoosh on the bottom
Yeah.
does make it
That's what I'm-
somewhat unique
that's what I'm
compared
hoping.
to,
Yeah.
because I noticed the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I don't want our library lawyer, you know, sweating or thinking about all the overtime that he's gonna get because now he's gonna have to steal.
So maybe he gets to meet Anthony Q.
I support it just so I get.
In which case,
I just did it.
probably gonna need a member of the you know, the public to go with you to.
Is,
You volunteer.
yes, Joyce?
Leadership, Freeman, Edison, New Jersey. You were amicable about the time. You let us speak over 3 minutes last time, so that was plus at all. And, what I find kind of disturbing, I've been in Edison over 50 years, and I have to leave town and go to everybody else's library every time I want to hear something about black jazz or black music or anything. Everybody keeps telling me, oh, Luna, yeah, Luna. I work in the school with Chinese other teachers, and we did Lunar New Year, and we did Black History. And like I asked the people up there, how many people know Robert McNair? How many people know Robert McNair? The black guy, he died, and when the plane blew up, we had a teacher on board. He was 9 years old when he desegregated a library. So my whole problem that I have with people is why people don't want to educate themselves. I'm a reading specialist. I worked right alongside of librarians in our schools, and we did things together. But I'm very annoyed is that I should get my tax back. If I have to go to Piscataway, I have to go to Metuchen, if I have to go to Plainfield, it doesn't make sense that I, as a senior, that I have to leave town so people become educated about history and stuff. I guarantee you, if each person tells me up there, I can tell you something about you. I can tell you because that's what I do. I read and I try to educate people. People say foolish stuff and they act crazy because they don't know a lot of things. One other thing that I'm glad that you don't have the military like a cop standing here. Because I sat on the library board for 9 years, not one police officer or anybody. And what disturbs me the most is that in this town now, we having murder, we having cars burn on fire, and we have police like sitting in buildings. All right, that's not good. That doesn't make it sound good. All right, because I'm from here, I graduated from the schools here and all that, and my friends are calling me from out of town and saying, well, what's going on there? What's going on? I just think that all of us can do better than we do. When you sit next to somebody and you're gonna tell me you're marketing, you tell me these other people, well, I guess you must not be marketing to certain groups of people. All right, because I remember at Clara Barton, we had different other programs there, and other people came in that looked like me, but we had other programs. You know what I mean? You can't just do to one demographic. And that's what hurts the library. All right, you have to branch out throughout the town. You say, oh, I got my little committee here. Your committee is the same people over and over again. You need to be on committees with people. Everybody shouldn't be like this on your committee. I never was a part of that kind of committee, all right? Because I was even on the school strategic planning board. I've been on a lot of different things here where people didn't care if you had a different idea because they wanted to strengthen, all right? They didn't want a bunch of bobbleheads. They didn't want that. So all I'm just saying is, next time February comes, this is like ridiculous. I got to go from town to town. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Dr. Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. So I wanted to commend you, President Pasquale, for having a well-run meeting last time. You allowed the public to speak. I like that the board here volunteered to go ahead and increase the speaking time to 4 minutes. And it sounds like you're not going to try to be militant, which is different than what the council has done. So I'm hoping they'll take a page from your book and increase the speaking time back on the council. I want to talk about several issues that I've been reflecting on since the last time we spoke. So there are 7 resumes that came for the library board in 4 months. As we know, 2 of them were accepted, and 5 of them weren't exactly rejected. Pat and Sue still haven't gotten, any letter or any notice that they are not welcome back on the board. So it's been, about a month since we should have probably gotten our 9th member. So I did suggest to you offline that maybe we should go ahead and try to add something to, it's not your call, it's the mayor and also Open Cap is here. It's about the 5th or 6th time that I'm asking for this, that maybe we should go ahead and try to advertise the boards, any position, library, whatever, on the homepage, but I have not gotten any resolution on that. So I'm hoping that somebody over here would think that that'd be a good idea and advocate for that. Because again, we still are missing 1 person here. And that is the way that the library board is supposed to function. That's basically the bylaws. So I'm hoping that somebody will take the lead on that. I had another question, so I'm kind of new to coming to these meetings. I watched them here and there. At the council meetings, we're able to talk about resolutions. We're only able to talk at the end. Is there a reason for that we're only allowed to speak at the end? and now to comment on the resolutions.
You could open it up to public comment on the resolutions if you'd like to. I don't think it's not necessarily required
Right.
to do it this way. I think if the board wanted to open it up to public comment, they're absolutely within the rights to do that.
Okay.
And they can do that.
Because a lot of comments that I want to make would have been something I wanted to speak in the last meeting, but, I know Rich Brescher wanted to say some stuff, but he wasn't allowed to, it wasn't his time. And I definitely couldn't speak because we were at the end. So I'm hoping that's something we'll look into.
I would, yeah, definitely look into the consideration. I was following what has been happening for the years, so, yeah, that's a good consideration, sure,
Okay.
sure.
So then I want to talk about a specific resolution, like I said, talk about the past and kind of reflect on this. The resolution to terminate the lawyer, President Pasquale, did you write that resolution? Who wrote that resolution?
Other questions?
Was that?
You have other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, or was it the current attorney that wrote that resolution? So I'm a little confused about that. Do we know if the reason I'm asking you is because I was looking at it and, I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but I was just wondering if it was written with the legalese that's required. So do you want to wait until after or want to continue?
You can continue.
Okay. So then the other question I have is, why was it a rush to get the reorganization done? We had a reorganization meeting. Why did we have to get rid of the lawyer in the first meeting? We had new people there. It seemed like the resolution was not given to everybody. It wasn't a hand copy to any of you guys. It didn't sound like it. So I know when I make decisions, I like to go ahead and be able to read it. This is why I kind of asked that maybe the public can also comment so that we can, when you guys vote, then we're like, you know what? You guys did all your due diligence. So I'm just concerned about that. So the reason I'm also thinking about this is because I was in contact with the mayor. He sent me a video from 2 years ago. And I noticed something that the mayor came to a library board meeting. And then he was saying that he did not like what the board was doing with the North Library, that was too slow, and he didn't like the attorney. So I just found it interesting that, last month, we got rid of the attorney. We got 2 new members that allowed that to happen. So it's just concerning to me. Maybe I shouldn't be concerned, and that's why I'm hoping that you guys can give me some kind of resolution to that, but it was just so much that happened in that meeting, and I just couldn't understand it. So it did fail the last 2 years ago, but this time it went through. Now, one of the things on the first line of resolution, whereas the board of trustees of the Edison Public Library has determined is the best interest of the library and necessary to the efficient operation of said library to appoint a qualified attorney to provide legal services. Now, I'm wondering what that actually means. Does that mean that the current board here, or the existing board, determined that there was a need to go ahead and change the attorney? I'm a little confused about that because, again, like I said, 2 years ago, they voted not to change the attorney. So again, all of a sudden, this year, with the turnover, when you wouldn't allow Pat Massey to come back in, when she was apparently by bylaws allowed to, somehow we got something that wasn't able to be done 2 years ago. So it's just confusing to me.
I'm just gonna say you're at 5 minutes right now, so.
Okay.
If we can.
Yeah, I'll try to, and I really appreciate that.
I'm just,
So I'm just, one of the things that's procedure, shouldn't everybody be given a paper? And I'm just wondering with our new people, shouldn't we have abstained from voting from this? Because again, it doesn't sound like anything you were brand new here, and it didn't seem like you guys had a copy of it unless there was a conversation before, and that's just a problem. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about was what happens to the salary of the former attorney? Nobody seems to question it, and thank you very much for letting me speak.
okay, great. Is there anybody else? Yes.
My name is Sarah Nasser, Mr. Bino, 59 Pleasant Avenue. We've been, well, I wanted to talk about, like I normally do, talking about the Friends, as well as talking about myself as a resident. As the president of the Friends, we've been spending these first 8 weeks of the year trying to plan out our 2025 agenda. We don't want to just be a book sale and a bait sale. We want to make sure that we have a lot of these kinds of fundraisers to do more so that we can actually end up fundraising larger amounts for the library. That, at the end of the day, is our goal so that we can support additional projects. On February 3rd, we kicked off the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. initiative, and, so if you have a little one that is, then you can sign up on Bean Stack. And thank you, Michael, for correcting me. I always say Bean Stalk, just how it is, but you know, Bean Stack. And basically you earn prizes, your child, earns prizes for, reading a certain number of books. And all of those prizes are funded by the Brunswick. Our membership committee has been sending out emails for renewals. So we didn't do renewals last year, so as we kicked off the Bruns in 2023, in the summer of 2023, if you had been a member, you basically were a member for a year and a half. This year, we are making it an annual membership, where when your membership ends after that year, you're gonna be sent a membership renewal request, and we'd appreciate it if you would renew. The website was a little bit confusing. I did get quite a few emails stating that there wasn't like a renewal link. So we are working through that with our IT department, and hopefully that'll be something that we can clarify and make it easier for people to renew as the days go on. All right, in the next 2 months, we are going to be sending out a lot more correspondence for those who are already Friends members, to understand what programs that we're going to be working on. And Alan and I have been going back and forth on quite a few ideas, and I'm grateful for the collaboration that we have with the library, because at the end of the day, it's like fundraising, but then also making sure that we do the projects that the library wants and needs. Most of you are friends, some of you are not. Please sign up. Same goes out to all of you here. Yes, I'm gonna keep saying it. Sign up. We've got 120 members. I was talking to the Metuchen Friends group just to kind of understand what they are. To put this into perspective, we've raised about a little over $5,000 in a year and a half. They raised within a year $25,000. So we have a long way to go to get through there. But hey, we gotta start somewhere. They are, established in the 1980s, so they've got quite a few years of experience. I'm hoping to, gain a lot of knowledge from how they've been doing certain things and implement that here, as well as take our ideas. And we are, considerably larger than Metuchen. We should be able to do a lot more. So my request to you is just talk to your friends, become a friend. And then as a resident, thank you for what you're saying about the Clara Barton Library and trying to update and upgrade the library so that it can be more useful to more people. I'm looking forward to the community conversations, and I'm looking forward to the engagement that we have coming through here, because it is in the corner and hidden away, but I'd like to see what it can become. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to thank you, Sarah, because I know, I can see the passion that you have for this. And I want you to know that I think as a board, we all see that. And, we know that, you have other things to do, you have work and you have family and you have, and for you to take the time out to do the great work you're doing, it's just honorable. So I, myself, and, for the board, we thank you for what you're doing, so. Thank you.
You guys don't get paid for this either, so.
Right. Thanks. Anybody else? Yes.
Annually, 79 Edison. Will you be answering after question? And the promise you made, will it still stand concerning Clara Barton Library? Will it still stand after the election? So we want an answer to Actor's question and the promise about Clara Barton Library. Will the library still be there after the election? Thank you.
So I'm gonna say, as I said last week, our last meeting, and I said earlier today, Clara Barton is not closing. It is not going anywhere. The residents spoke, and it is staying where it is. So that would be my answer to that. Anybody else?
I have 2 questions.
I answered one. Anybody else? Okay, We are going to go to, board member comments, and I just want to, say, what we're going to follow with board members' comments is, in Robert's rules that we follow, since there is no stated allotted time for the board members, it does say in Robert's rules that it would then be a 10-minute limit. So we are just going to stick to that. So if you can just keep in with that 10 minutes, we would really appreciate it. Again, like I said, there's some flexibility, but again, to keep the meeting efficient and moving forward, I would appreciate it. So I'll just start with trains. Do you have any comments? No? Polly? No? Anything?
When public ask questions and to answer that, is there a next meeting or when do they get answers when public ask any questions that they wanted to get answers?
It's at the board's discretion. The board has the discretion to answer questions. It's a public comment. It's not intended to be question and answer, but the board is within its rights to answer any questions that they wanted.
Board has a right to answer the questions.
Absolutely, yes.
So I don't have the answer for what he has asked for, whatever it is that the public is asked a question and we have to answer, and I myself don't know, or do we have to answer when public asks a question?
We don't have to answer.
Okay, that's.
No. It's our prerogative to.
Just ignore what advice.
Okay, Fiona.
Waste of time.
Short and sweet, I appreciate you guys coming out to these meetings. And I appreciate your comments. And please keep them coming. Please keep coming to the meetings because you are what makes the library.
Okay,
Thank you.
just to get back to where I was talking about, public comment is public comment. Number two, public comment is not what you read on telephone. It's what you read and hear on news media, not what you hear there. Number two, as the representative of the Edison Township Board of Education, I am Dr. L. Loretti, his spokesperson. I'm here to tell you that the construction is going forward on J.P. Stevens. We have taken bids for JMI, and we're taking bids next month for John Marshall. JMI will be an additional 12 classrooms. The vestibules are being changed to be man caves. In other words, you press a button, they let you in, and then once the doors are closed, you state your business, and then the guard or the principal or the people that are in charge. Number two, all of the schools that I discussed and talked about during final stages, Herbert Hoover, John Adams, you got PJ. We're working on other projects, but right now I can't discuss them. But I can discuss JMI, and I can discuss John Marshall. John Marshall's going to be 35 classrooms in a bigger gym. One of the issues with that is that according to the designs, which is holding things up, is I can't figure out how you can take and add classrooms and add a gym and not add a bathroom. When you're going to put 25 or 30 classrooms on and there's no bathroom, I have a problem with that. It all comes down to serving the public. the public does have a right to know about this stuff. After all, it is your money. I can't talk about referendums, I can't talk about bonding, but I can tell you that we're moving forward. Please be willing to let us do our jobs. Now, we, as board members, we put people in charge to do the job the right way. When it comes to issues such as construction, we have construction managers, we have people that know what they're doing. Do not believe what you hear when there's a cost overrun. It's all taken in contingencies. In other words, we get bids, but those bids have other contingencies with it. I just want you to understand that the board, the school board, the administrative team is doing what we have to do to get the job done, to give our students what they need. I just want everybody to know that it's a big ship and we're doing everything we can to move the ship forward. So please, not give us a break. I didn't say that. Listen, learn from what we're talking about. And if we can't tell you certain things in a public meeting, there's a reason. Number three, this is the hard one. In social media, there's a report that's going around about a sexual assault. I can tell you that sexual assault happened in 1980. The reason that it just came up was because the state took the statute of limitations off. Our lawyers are working diligently. It's coming out of the insurance company's pockets. It's not coming out of the taxpayers' pockets. See, that's the issue. If you listen to the social media, we're spending, or it's costing us $11.5 million. It's not that. I can't give you the actual number yet because it's not all complete. Please, if you have an issue, please reach out to the board, administration, not to the board members. Like here, reach out to the library. Reach out to the board members, of course, the trustees, but reach out to the people that are in charge. They're the ones that make recommendations. I was so pleased to listen to what the new logo would be. I really like to see it. But everybody has an opinion. So please, let the board, the trustees, the administration in the library and at the Board of Ed, let them do the job that they're supposed to do. They're supposed to keep the district moving forward. The library, they're supposed to keep things moving forward and to show progress. That's what we're doing. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, for the time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I have something to say. Last time after you did ask me, how can I make sure that we'll have good books? And not sure if you asked about the budget, but I thought about it. So the first of all, I think we can make it better by engaging the community, by distributing the surveys, feedback forms, and having the boxes where they can leave the recommendation about the specific titles, genre, whatever they need. So the first approach definitely would be a community engagement because they are the one who make the library a better library. Second would be collaboration with this will actually encourage the local authors also. This is my idea, but collaboration with local authors and book clubs. We have good schools over here. Why not to connect with book clubs and get an ideas what kids like, right? Get recommendation from them. And learning more trending interests, and the recommendation. Diversifying the collection based on recommendation, what we are getting. We should diversify our collection, and having in all different formats. I believe a lot of people are moving towards some, especially because we are focusing on all generations, right? There is a particular set of generation is going towards digital. I'm one of them. And many people still like the book. So we need to have in all different formats, audio format, digital format, and the book. Staying informed with the library trends. By having all these feedback, we will stay informed. And budget consideration if needed. I would definitely work with the finance if we need more, or we can work on the budget allocation. So that's my input on that and my answer.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you. And Sarah, thank you so much for bringing the community together. I would like to ask, and I'll come and meet you. How can I help you? I think I can spread the word and ask people to join. It's really, and I know there are so many parents would love to join. So I would like to know from you, I mean, apology that I have not gone and seen everything that you are doing. I will definitely see myself, but I would like to learn from you and, the way you want to put it so that I can spread the word and ask parents to, get connected. So yeah, I'll work on that. Thank you. That's all.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Add
Sure.
something to what she said. We've had two local authors who reached out to us and they do want to donate their books to the library. They've reached out to me and I've reached out to both Alan and Mr. DePasquale about it. So we're looking forward to connecting with more and more authors and, trying to get books donated to the library and whatever else we can do, we're happy to do it. So I want to collaborate with Sarah on the same as well. Thank you.
Anybody else?
In order to get the friends of the family to join the Edison Library, is when they issue the library card, there should be a, for the parents to ask at the same time that there is this one and would you like to join? I mean, connecting with the library card would help to have the parents to join that.
I think that would be something that the librarians would have to see whether they want to do.
I think the staff already does that along with the other brochures, but I can double check. I mean, we have them out on all the counters. But given all the moves around, I will have to double check that we still have a supplier that's doing that. They do that, they do the basic brochure, they do the museum pass, and they probably do the friends, but I'll double check.
Good call out. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments? All right. So closed session, we do have to go to a closed session, so I'm going to read the resolution. Be it resolved by the Edison Public Library Board of Trustees that the board will now enter into a closed session to discuss matters related to personnel, as these matters involve confidential employee information protected by state law. Can I have a motion? Motion. Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Mead,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Gabati,
Yes.
Ms. Singh,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
and Mr. DePasquale.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so we're going to ask the public if you could please step out. What are we doing? 30 minutes? Will be about 10-15 minutes if you guys want to come back. Okay. We are going to, no action from the closed session. So we're going to go to announcements. Are there any announcements? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
And raise hand, everybody, all right, we are done.
Perfect.
I am positive. But now we're done.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.